Have you ever noticed how, when you are completely overwhelmed, the absolute worst advice someone can give you is to just calm down?
Oh, absolutely. It usually has the exact opposite effect. It is like throwing gasoline on a fire. Your heart is racing, your mind is spinning, and someone casually tells you to just relax. It almost feels insulting in the moment.
Right. Because you cannot just think your way out of a physiological stress response. Your brain is sounding a massive biological alarm, and you are trying to use pure logic to turn off a blaring siren. It never works.
It really does not. And that is the trap we all fall into in modern life. We try to change our mindset. We try to rationalize our anxiety away. But the truth is, the fastest way to calm the nervous system is not about thinking differently at all. It is actually about breathing differently.
Which sounds so incredibly simple, almost too simple, but the science behind it is actually fascinating. I want to dive deep into this today because there is a specific protocol, just 90 seconds long, that acts like a hard reset for your body. It is not some mystical ancient secret, it is pure hard science.
Exactly. And to understand why it works, we have to look at some recent research out of Stanford Medicine. They ran a randomized study looking at a very specific breathing method called cyclic sighing, and the results were honestly a little disruptive to the traditional wellness industry.
Disruptive how? Because when people hear breathing exercises, whilst they usually immediately think of sitting cross-legged on a mountain or doing an hour of meditation.
Right. And meditation is wonderful, but in this study, they compared a daily 5-minute practice of this cyclic sighing technique against traditional mindfulness meditation. And the breathing practice actually outperformed meditation in improving mood and reducing anxiety in healthy adults.
Wait, really? Just 5 minutes of a specific breathing pattern beat out mindfulness meditation? That is going to surprise a lot of people who spend hours trying to quiet their minds.
It does surprise people, but when you look at the biology, it makes perfect sense. Meditation requires a lot of cognitive effort. You have to notice your thoughts, let them go, bring your focus back. When you are already highly anxious, that mental gymnastics can be exhausting. But breathing? Breathing is a mechanical lever. It directly forces your physiology to change, whether your mind wants to or not. The key effect they found was a massive reduction in physiological arousal and a much slower baseline breathing rate.
So it is literally a biological hack. You are bypassing the brain and going straight to the hardware. Tell me exactly how this works. What is the actual protocol? Because I know people listening right now are probably dealing with a spike in stress and want to know how to hit that reset button.
The protocol is incredibly straightforward. It is just 3 basic steps. First, you take a deep breath in through your nose. But here is the critical part, the magic, so to speak. Before you exhale, you take one more short, sharp inhale to fully expand your lungs.
So it is a double inhale, a big one, followed immediately by a tiny second one.
Exactly. And then, step 3, you let out a long, slow exhale through your mouth. You just let all the air out completely, and you simply repeat that cycle for about 90 seconds. That is usually around 5 to 10 cycles depending on your lung capacity. 2 inhales, 1 long exhale. Repeat for 90 seconds. That is the reset.
Okay, I have to ask about that second tiny inhale, because taking a deep breath makes sense to everyone. But what is the physiological purpose of sneaking in that extra little gasp of air at the very top?
I love that question because that is where the real mechanics happen. Think of your lungs like millions of tiny little balloons. These are called alveoli. When we get stressed, or even when we just sit at a computer for hours, our breathing naturally becomes very shallow. Because of that, a lot of those tiny balloons actually collapse and stick together.
Like when a balloon is deflated for too long and the rubber just kind of glues to itself.
Precisely. And when those alveoli collapse, carbon dioxide builds up in your bloodstream. That buildup of carbon dioxide is actually what triggers the feeling of agitation and panic in your brain. Now, when you take that first deep breath, you fill the lungs. But that second, tiny inhale, that acts like a mechanical pop. It forces those collapsed balloons to pop open.
Oh wow, so you are mechanically forcing the surface area of your lungs to expand to its absolute maximum.
Yes, and by popping them open, you allow your body to suddenly offload a massive amount of that trapped carbon dioxide. Then, when you follow it up with that long, slow exhale through the mouth, you are pushing all of that stress-inducing gas out of your system.
That makes so much sense. It is literally an exhaust valve for stress. But why does the exhale have to be long and slow? Why not just blow it out quickly?
Because the length of your exhale is directly wired to your heart rate. When you inhale, your diaphragm moves down, your heart expands slightly, and blood moves a bit slower through it. Your brain notices this and sends a signal to speed the heart up. But when you exhale, the opposite happens. The diaphragm moves up, there is less space for the heart, blood flows faster, and the brain sends a signal to slow the heart down.
So a long exhale is literally a biological command to slow the heart rate.
Exactly. A long exhale forcefully shifts your body into parasympathetic activity. That is the rest and recover mode of your nervous system. It is an evolutionary signal of safety. If you are running from a predator, you cannot take long, slow exhales. So when you intentionally do it, you are tricking your ancient nervous system into believing the threat is gone.
I love the idea of tricking our own biology. It brings up a really interesting point about how we live today. We are constantly triggering that fight or flight response. An angry email from a boss, a notification on our phone, traffic. Our bodies react to all of these as if a tiger is chasing us.
We are ancient hardware running modern, high-stress software. Our bodies do not know the difference between a looming deadline and a looming predator. The physiological cost is identical.
Which makes this 90-second tool so vital. When are the best times to actually deploy this? I imagine it is not just for full-blown panic attacks.
Not at all. It is best used as a real-time intervention. Use it when you feel that sudden stress spike in the middle of the workday. Use it at 3 a.m. when you wake up and your mind is suddenly racing with all the things you have to do tomorrow. It is perfect for that pre-meeting anxiety or when you need a quick recovery pause between intense tasks.
It is interesting you mention recovery because a lot of us are tracking this now. We have smart wearables, rings, watches, constantly monitoring our biometrics. We can actually see the toll this stress takes on our bodies.
Yes, and that is where the concept of this breathing protocol intersects beautifully with modern technology. Think about the OXYZEN smart ring, for example. It is sitting there on your finger, continuously measuring your stress levels, tracking your heart rate variability or HRV. When your HRV is low after a period of overload, the ring tells you that your nervous system is essentially redlining.
Right, it gives you the data. It serves as a dashboard warning light. But the data alone does not fix the problem. Staring at an app that tells you are stressed usually just makes you more stressed.
Exactly. And that is the brilliance of combining the technology with the biology. The OXYZEN philosophy perfectly captures this. This breathing protocol is not magic. It is nervous system leverage. The ring measures the stress. Your breath is the lever that actually changes it, and then your nervous system records the result, which you then see reflected right back on the device.
It creates a closed feedback loop. You feel stressed. The ring confirms it. You do the 90-second double inhale protocol. And then the ring actually proves to you that you successfully changed your own physiology.
It is incredibly empowering. We spend so much of our lives feeling like we are at the mercy of our emotions, at the mercy of our environment. But you have a built-in remote control for your nervous system. You just have to know which buttons to press.
It makes you wonder about the broader social implications of this. We live in a society that constantly profits off our dysregulation. The news, social media, the endless notifications, they are all designed to keep our sympathetic nervous system engaged because an anxious brain is an engaged brain.
That is a profound way to look at it. Chronic stress is almost the default currency of the modern world. By taking 90 seconds to intentionally slow your breathing, to forcefully offload that carbon dioxide and signal safety to your body, you are almost staging a tiny biological rebellion. You are reclaiming your attention and your peace.
A biological rebellion. I absolutely love that. It is a reminder that no matter how advanced our technology gets, no matter how fast the world spins, the most powerful tool we have for finding stability is the very first thing we did when we were born.
We took a breath.
Exactly. So, to summarize for everyone listening, you do not need an hour of silence. You do not need to empty your mind. You just need 90 seconds. A deep inhale through the nose, a tiny extra sip of air at the top to pop those alveoli open, and a long, slow, complete exhale through the mouth, 5 to 10 times.
That is all it takes to flip the switch. Your ring measures it, your breath changes it, and your body feels it.
Incredible. The next time you feel the world closing in, before you try to outthink your panic, just remember to use your lungs. Thank you for breaking down the science behind this so beautifully today. And to everyone listening, take a moment right now, take that double inhale, let out a long sigh, and we will catch you in the next conversation.